Hey guys, it's Jantzn in Los Angeles.
He looks like Brimstone. I was like, you look like a Brim player.
I've been a TaskRabbit tasker for the past 4 years and completed over 1,600 tasks while keeping a 100% positive rating. Now, in this time, I've built up my client base and have taken on some more high-profile clients, most notably the gaming streamer Pokemon, who was just featured in the Forbes Top 30 Under 30. I didn't always start out working with high-profile clients. I had to build towards it, and this guide will help you get to the same point that I am at. I joined TaskRabbit in March 2016. I had just gotten a pickup truck and was looking for side jobs to help make the payments for it. My original idea was to buy and sell old arcade games because it was a market that I was very familiar with. You pick up the cabinet, restore it, rewire it, make it look nice, and resell it. But I quickly learned that people were just needing help with heavy furniture, moving mattresses, or basic handyman work, and it was paying more than my daytime job. I was making more helping people one-on-one than I was going to my 9-to-5. And I realized if I could build this up, it could be a really solid, steady stream of income, and it is now my main source of income. I do this as a day job. I don't even work that often. I work maybe 2 to 4 hours a day, about 4 to 6 days a week, alternating, but you can build yourself up, build your client base up, your reviews up. You are your own brand, and you can take on more and more clients, do more and more jobs, and really work less and less overall because you are so good at what you do. When I first started out, I was only taking jobs either after work in the evenings or on the weekends. It really was a side hustle for me. But I kept doing jobs and I kept getting 5-star reviews. And eventually I was able to raise my rates because I proved how reliable I was. My initial rate through TaskRabbit when I first started was $40 an hour. Now back then, TaskRabbit took 30%, so my take home was only $28 an hour gross. That was still more than I was making at my day job, but I was only doing it 1 or 2 hours a day at most. And again, the more and more you do, the more reliable you become, the more prominent you are. You can reach an elite status, which really features you in search results. So when people are trying to find a new tasker to help them, you stand out above everyone else. Besides being elite, you really want to keep that 100% rating. That, more than anything, is what will help you get higher rates and more clients in the future. Understand that no matter where you are, your rates will be low when they first start out, but they can increase dramatically. When I first started, my take home was $28 an hour and it's now $85. I tripled my take home pay in 4 years because I was good at my job and my clients loved me. You need to stick with it. You need to keep track of what other taskers with similar ratings are charging for the services in your area to stay competitive. Don't undervalue yourself, but be realistic. If you have 10 ratings and you're 100% positive, you might not get booked to do cleaning at $40 an hour. But if you have 100 reviews and you're 99% positive, it's more likely. If you have 1,000 reviews and are 100% positive, it is almost guaranteed that you are worth $40 an hour to clean because 1,000 other people have agreed that what you charged them was fair. Rates vary market to market and skill to skill, so keep track of what's popular, what's in demand, and what people are paying. It does change over time. Clients will pay more if you are efficient. Think about it. If you have 2 people for a job, one of them charges $25 an hour, but it takes them 2 hours to do the job, that's $50. If you have a second person who can do the same job at $50 an hour in 1 hour, that's also $50. The difference is that 1 hour that your client saves. They get to leave, they don't have to worry. The job is done and they have an hour to themselves. Time is money. If you can save your clients time, that's just as good as saving them money. So even though your rate may be higher, you are absolutely worth it because they save that in the long run anyway. It is okay to turn down task requests. It is okay to tell a client no. If anything they're asking is illegal, unsafe, or makes you uncomfortable, you don't have to do it. You can cancel their request, you can walk away, you can get into a safe position and then contact support. Do not stick around if you feel the job is going to damage any property or hurt any person, including yourself. It is not worth it. When you first start out, you may feel compelled to do every job that gets requested of you. You do not have to. In fact, I would say it's unwise to take on every single job that comes your way. There are limits to what you can do, and your job as a tasker is to understand what those limits are and what you can do. You do not need to take jobs that you cannot do. You do not need to make a client happy if they are unreasonable or they are threatening. It is okay to tell a client no. I will get into this in another video, but I just want to say again, you do not have to take any specific job that is requested of you. You can always walk away from a job assuming it is making you uncomfortable, unsafe, or you're worried. Check the other video, I'll have more details, but again, it is okay to tell a client no. Now, if you're not sure if a job is right for you, you need to ask your client questions and understand what the scope of the task is. When considering the scope of the task, there are three things. There's what your client asked for, what they actually need done, and yes, these are two different things. And third, what you can do. So first of all, what did your client ask for? What details did they include? Because sometimes they will include information that just isn't relevant, or they'll leave it so generic and generalized that you don't really know what they actually need help with. For example, if they say they need help with moving 2 to 4, that could mean they need help moving from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. That means they could need help moving for 2 to 4 hours. Or it could mean they just need help moving 2 to 4 boxes from the front of the house to the back of the house. Again, what they ask for isn't always what you interpret as what they need, and vice versa. So, from what they ask for, you need to determine what they actually need done. From the details and information you already have, you need to ask questions. So many questions, because there are so many minute details that you need to get through to understand exactly what the scope of their task is. The whole point of a task is that you can do it. So if it involves specialized tools or anything, you need to know that ahead of time. So as far as questions go, the most basic one, if it's not answered, is what do you need help with? And the follow-up question, is that it? I cannot stress you enough how many times clients ask for help and omit a detail because they just don't think about it. So you need to stress, is that it? You need to understand exactly what they are asking for because you need to determine how long it will take, and again, if it's within your skill set. So from that, you need to go to the date and time. What day and time are they hoping for? Are they flexible at all in scheduling? If you have someone that's asking for you specifically for 12 noon on a Monday, but their schedule is open and they can do any time Monday through Friday, that's amazing. You can schedule around that. You can show up on Tuesday when you have a gap in your schedule and help them out then. It doesn't have to be Monday, but you need to ask them, do they have any sway in their availability? Can another time work, or does it have to be that exact day and time? Always ask this, especially because sometimes clients put in the wrong time. They might put the wrong day, they might put the wrong hour, but it's very common that they put in the wrong day or time, and you go through this whole questionnaire and it turns out they actually need help on a day that you're not available. You just went through all that work of understanding what the scope of their task was and you're already booked. So again, confirm the day and time. Once you've confirmed the day and time, confirm the address. Sometimes clients will mistype something, or they'll put in the wrong city, or the app itself will just misinterpret what they entered. So for example, here in Los Angeles, we have 22nd Street, both in Central City, down in San Pedro, and in the city of Santa Monica. Those are 3 different locations that all can be interpreted as the same address. It just depends on the zip code. So just to make sure that you aren't late or that you don't drive way out of the way unnecessarily, confirm the address. That way you have that well ahead of time and you end up at the right place. Also, be sure to ask for any photos that could be relevant to what you're doing. Any areas or items that you'll be working with, anything that they need help with. If they have photos of it, you can at least understand ahead of time what you'll be working with or where you'll be working. It really does alleviate some of the stress of walking into a situation unprepared because you know absolutely, yes, I recognize that. Yes, that's what you sent me. Okay, let's go. This is exactly what I was expecting. I know exactly what to do. It really does help with being efficient when you know exactly what you're going to be getting into ahead of time. Another major detail to consider is if there are any stairs or steps involved. If you're going to be by yourself, 3 steps from the outside front door, not a big deal. If you're gonna be by yourself and it's 3 flights of stairs with a refrigerator going up, that's something to consider having a second person around for. This, again, varies task to task, but knowing ahead of time, even for a smaller task, whether or not there are stairs involved, something you definitely wanna just know well ahead of time. And again, at a task by task basis, you need to understand, does this specific task require you to bring or pick up any specialized tools or goods that will be consumed? By goods being consumed, I mean something that you pick up and bring and then you don't take back with you. It stays there or the client holds on to it. This is not something that you keep as a tool or anything else. This would be something like plastic cups or plates for a party. Anything that you do not take home with you, that is something to be expensed to your client. For specialized tools, you may want to hold on to something. For example, if you don't have a dolly, if you're starting out and you don't have a dolly and you need to buy a dolly is not something that you expense to a client if you're holding on to it. You will buy the dolly, you will use the dolly, and they'll use it in the future for other clients. Basically, you'll be offsetting the cost of the dolly across the dozens or hundreds or even thousands of tasks in the future that you use it for. So you need to understand and clarify what the client expects you to bring, and if it is an additional expense, make sure that they clarify well ahead of time, again, before you get there or even buy anything, that it is an expense that they will be paying you back for. So understand the difference and make sure that the client and you are on the same page about what you have, what you can bring, and what they will be repaying you for. Another thing that may come up is if there's trash or recycling generated from your task. If they have cardboard boxes, packing materials, plastic, do they have a trash bin or a recycling bin that you can use? Or do they expect you to take care of it and you taking it away? That's something to ask them. And the last thing to do is to make sure that they're the contact you're going to be meeting with. Sometimes they'll have a second person, a third party, meeting you at one site or another. They may not be there. They might not even be available to respond to a phone call while you're doing the task. You need to know who you're going to be dealing with, and at the end of the task, who you need to confirm that you're done and say goodbye with, because for the most part, it will be your client, your direct contact, but sometimes it will be someone completely different who you've never met before. Know who it is, know their contact information, so that way when you arrive, you can start immediately. From all the details and information that your client has provided, you need to ask yourself if you can safely and efficiently do the job that's been requested. First, ask yourself, are you available? If your client is flexible, you can really play around with this to find the right day and time that works, but this is all on you. You need to determine whether you are available and whether you can get to them on time. Now, keeping that in mind, you need to ask yourself, how long will this task take? Your client most likely will give you some relative idea, but it is up to you to determine how long a task will take, because ultimately, you're responsible for however long it takes. If you're efficient, you can be done soon. If it takes you a while, it might be stretched out a bit. But when that happens, you need to make sure you can get to your next client in time. You need to determine how long something will take and make sure that you give yourself enough time to get to all clients on your schedule. And last, do you have all supplies or tools necessary for the job? If you do need to pick up something, make sure you give yourself enough time to pick it up well in advance, because you do not want to risk something being sold out on the very day that you need to have it. So now that you've understood the scope of the task and you have your client scheduled, you enter the 3 stages of the actual task itself. Before the task, make sure you have all tools and supplies ready. If you need to pick up anything beforehand, make sure you do it at least a day before. Do not wait until the last minute to risk something being sold out. Arrive on time. Make sure you account for any traffic and other clients that you have, because you want to make sure that you get to your next client at least 15 minutes early. This gives you a chance to meet them, introduce yourself, explore the area, make sure that you know where you're going and what you'll be doing, because you want to make sure that you start immediately when the task time starts. Now, if you do end up being late, alert your client. Do not show up late without letting your client know well beforehand that you will be late. Clients are often understanding, but if you just show up late and don't let them know that you're going to be late, that looks really bad on you. So make sure you alert them well in advance that you might be running behind. And again, once you've arrived, verify what you'll be doing and where. Make sure that you know what you're going to be doing so you don't unnecessarily do something that your client didn't ask or doesn't need done, because if you do that, you'll have to undo it, and that's just wasted time. Ask any questions that you have and ask your client if they have any questions for you. This is the last chance you get to make sure that the work that's going to be done is done properly, so get that out there. Ask anything that's still on your mind. So once you've gotten all of that clarified and out the way, you can start the task. And during the task, be knowledgeable and be friendly. Know what you're doing and have a smile on your face as you do it. Your client may ask you questions or be talkative, and you want to reciprocate that. You're building your rapport. You want to make sure that you have a good relationship with your client. So be knowledgeable and be friendly. You need to alert your client if any issues come up. This can be a technical issue, a defect, something that you run into that you weren't expecting and may cause you to take more time to complete. Bring these up to your client immediately, because your client needs to know ahead of time if something's going to run long or if the quality of something isn't going to be up to the standards they need it to be. For the most part, clients are understanding, but you need to point it out to them. You need to make sure that they know well in advance that, hey, this came up, I'm doing this to fix it, or this came up, it might be an issue, but you need to at least tell them. If for whatever reason the task becomes unsafe, extremely difficult, or you have difficulty with your client, contact support immediately. Let them know what the situation is, let them know what you're doing, and see what they recommend, because nothing should be ahead of your safety, your client's safety, or anyone's property. You are the first priority, followed by your client, followed by everything else. Everything else should remain safe, but again, you are your first priority. If your client makes you feel unsafe or in danger in any way, leave immediately. You can contact support later, but you are your first priority. You need to get out of there. You need to feel safe. This is very rare, but it has happened in the past where you may need to leave a situation that you are in. And again, you are the priority. You can leave. You can tell your client no. You can rectify this with support later on, explaining why you left because of the situation. But immediately in that moment, you can get out of there. You are allowed to do that. Never feel like you are obligated to finish a task if a client has made you feel this way. Once you've completed the task, you now enter the third stage, which is after the task. Show your client the completed work and ask if you may have missed anything. Ask them, is there anything else that I can help you with? Sometimes details get overlooked and you want to make sure that you've done the task to what they were expecting it. Walk them through it, show them the details. And again, just ask, like, anything else, did I miss anything? Ask them. It's okay to ask questions. Make sure you pack up all tools and supplies. If you leave behind any tools or supplies, it will cut into your bottom line because you'll have to repurchase things. And the whole point of doing this job is to make sure that you can make money. So again, sweep the area, make sure you look at anything you might have used, any areas you worked in, make sure you take back everything that is yours because you're gonna need it for future clients. You don't wanna have to spend any more money than you don't have to. Now that the task is done and you're all packed up, you want to thank your client and verify the total hours as well as expenses that you'll be listing on the invoice. If you had to buy anything, those should be receipts. You should have those and take photos of them, list them in the chat. You want to, again, verify everything that you will be billing your client for. Do not directly ask for tips. You can explain any questions that your client has about tipping, but do not bring it up yourself. They will bring it up. Never, ever ask your client for a tip. Before you go, leave a direct contact number or email so that way the client can reach you in the future. They may have questions about the work that you've already performed, or they may want to hire you for a date well in the future that TaskRabbit's schedule doesn't have open yet, and you want to make sure that they can reach out to you, contact you, and you can square that away so that way they can book you once your availability is open. And lastly, you can do this before you leave or after you've left, but you want to push through an invoice on the same day. You don't want your client wondering when their credit card's gonna be charged. You wanna make sure that they are aware, yes, the job is done, this was the total, this is what's getting put on the card. You want that all squared away the same day. And really, that's all it takes. These are the guidelines, these are the tips and tricks. This is the way that you can have consistent growth and expand your client base. You become elite, you become featured, you become the face and the name that people put to getting things done. You make it work. You become your brand and grow that out. You don't have to work a 9 to 5. You don't have to work 40 hours a week. You can work as little as 5 to 10 hours a week doing specialized jobs once you are renowned for that. And really the best opportunity that TaskRabbit offers is just the time that you save. You can schedule yourself whenever, so you can take time off whenever you feel like it. My first year, I traveled to New York, New Orleans, Denver, Portland, the Czech Republic, Japan, twice. I was so across the board because I was meeting new people and I was actually making new business opportunities in those countries and in those cities. It was fantastic. It was so much fun. And the best part so far this year of 2020, if I can say that, because this year has been so weird, has been the opportunity to just reconnect with Pokemon again, because she actually invited me on her stream.
You want to say hi to my stream?
Yeah, actually. She trusts me. And we have a rapport that she knows, like, I am professional. I can be on her stream, and she knows, like, I'm going to be a normal, regular person. There are very few people in the world that can be trusted with that opportunity, and I was blindsided, but so happy and appreciative that she saw that in me. She's like, I trust you. Like, come say hi to my stream. Just come on. I was like, oh my God, like, this is what I'm trying to get into, creative video production again. So that was just the highlight of 2020 so far, just having that opportunity to say hi to everybody on our stream. So that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Again, I am Jantzn in Los Angeles. I am Mr. Los Angeles. I'm on Reddit, TaskRabbit, Twitch. You can check my website, jantzn.com. That is literally my first name, jantzn.com. For any information you want about me or to hire me or any questions from there, comment whatever you have. I will get back to those, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Complete!